The following video is about the attitudes you will see pervasive in people who are conversant or competent in computers, electronics, and technology that have been around the block long enough. You're not going to find that necessarily in the younger crowd that are also competent because they're more willing to take risks, it seems. Good example are tech enthusiasts. Everything in my house is wired to the Internet of Things. I control all of it from my smartphone. My smart house is Bluetooth enabled and I can give it voice commands via Alexa. I love the future. Contrasting with people who actually work in IT or in some cases designed and built this equipment. What is my house like? Because I work in IT, here I'll give you the reasons later. The windows, doors, every other piece of equipment and electronics are all mechanical or electromechanical, manually controlled. I use a router that I've hacked into and put in open source software that I can easily verify has been or has not been tampered with and completely lock it down, making it physically impossible for someone to rewrite it by altering the board for the router and every other piece of equipment I can get my hands on by finding the read and write wire rather than tab or switch and cutting it, to be repaired later by very carefully and very, very hard to detect reintegration of the connection, or just removing a single jumper resistor of 0 ohms. I have no Alexa or Google Assistant or any other voice-controlled systems enabled. I don't have internet-connected things like thermostats. No smart home things at all. And I'll further this sentiment by them also saying, I don't have a car that can drive itself or even park itself. It will apply brakes if I'm about to hit something because that's logical, or I might have airbags. But it doesn't have the ability to be sending anything back. I don't do any sort of subscription service because if you subscribe to something, it can be taken away from you and then you have to go to court to get your money back. If you're allowed to. As you may have noticed, some people have avoided not just financial problems, but criminal cases by having everything go through arbitration, which obviously means that the large corporation never loses. Programmers and engineers will say something along the lines of, the most recent piece of technology I own is a printer from 2004. I keep a loaded gun ready to shoot it if ever it makes an unexpected noise or does anything. That sounds a bit extreme, except printers would spy on you a long time ago. Oh, we have to monitor your ink and send it back through an internet connection because it was a combination scanner, printer, and fax machine. Now, we're at the 3-minute mark, and that's the entire video. You can stop watching it now. In fact, I might cut it off now. But an opinion. Why do people who work in IT absolutely disable all of this stuff? Because the whole point is that you spend your entire time unscrewing things up. That's the whole point. The computer I'm using right now is one of many I've owned in my life where the first thing I did when I got it is look for any way to flash the BIOS to get rid of every single bit of hidden code. This one happened to be one that didn't have anything that could communicate over the internet, not because I trusted someone's opinion on Reddit, but because I loaded the default CD of data, hooked it up to the internet through a router, and let the router catch it lying about not connecting over the internet. I then proceeded to look for every single utility and function that tried to squeal on me and talk back home. If you use Firefox or any browser, all of them eventually call home. You have to permanently block at your computer or at the router everything that would communicate home. I use nothing but cracked versions of Windows. It doesn't matter that I have a paid-for copy. I want it to run like a hacked or pirated version because then it can't call home. I don't want it doing that. I bought the computer. It's mine. I have the absolute right to destroy its ability to disobey me. If the computer says no, the computer is wrong. If the computer ignores your orders, the computer is wrong. Having a voice-activated anything, unless it's absolutely medically necessary, for instance, if you don't have the ability to do anything other than voice control, is bad. Don't do it. a smart home can, or artificial intelligent home, let's call it that way these days, can make a decision. And I don't know if you understand this, computers make mistakes all the time. No one is allowed to say computers only do what they're programmed to do. No, that's not true. They now do emergent behavior. Things they were never programmed to do or told to do are now able to happen, and have been for years. Tech enthusiasts like all of the stuff because of the convenience. The price you pay is that you are monitored continually. Now, if you want to monitor a home entirely and have your entire life recorded and stored somewhere, that's fine. But do you have absolute control over it? No, then you're leaking information constantly. Part of the reasons I do videos with this format is that it makes it really, really difficult for someone to figure out exactly what part of the world I'm in. I'm in the state of Oregon. I was born in the year 1968. I never tell anybody my real birth date if I have to write it down, unless it's a federal law for me not to, for me lying. I will put in a false date for birth. It's no one's business. I don't give out my social security number. When people say, well, you have to fill this out with this information, I then walk in and say, I'm applying for an IT department job, and you're telling me before we have a contract to give you enough information to steal my identity. Is this part of the test to see if I'm too stupid to work here? Or worse, too smart? And yes, I've gotten the job each time I had to do that, because I explained to them, your procedures are crap. I'm not going to let you do this. I won't work for you if you do this to random people coming in off the street applying for a job. You're just going to sell it to somebody. And the people who didn't like that, I forwarded that fact to whoever was running an agency that would go after them for the obvious. They were selling people's information, and in some cases, 2 of them, they weren't hiring anybody. They were just trying to get all the personal details. Yeah, when you fill out all those forms, you're giving away all the information needed to steal your identity and jack up your bank account and, create debts in your name. And this is understood. Every time you fill out a form to get an apartment, you're giving away your identity to that person. How did I get around it? If anybody's curious, I had a dossier built, I still have it, on myself, and each year I would go in and do the background check. Well, why are you doing it? You know damn good and well why I'm doing it. I'm an IT geek. You just say computer security technician or IT geek, and if they ask, can you prove it? You say, do you want to be outed on Yelp? They suddenly shut the fuck up, because the entire point of their business is to be trusted with our data. I then make sure that they understand that they're going to sign a contract I wrote up saying they're not allowed to sell my information to anybody. You're doing a background check on me. That's it. You're not going to hold my credit score hostage or whatever scam you're going to pull. You're just going to do what you said you were going to do, and you're going to do it now. And I went to a different one each year, and the ones that were not compliant with the law suddenly got a visit from regulators that you do want in place. Remember years ago, we were going to have net neutrality happen, but a bunch of bigwigs got in the way of it? Yeah, they did. And they lied to you and said that you were losing your freedom to be spied on and censored. And you're all bitching about it. People who keep shooting themselves in the foot or the dick and complaining later. You were warned. So, how's my credit score? I don't care. I just made sure that I had a copy of it. Well, this shows, I know what it shows. And I handed it to you. And I'm not paying you the $40 check fee for checking up on me. And I made sure the company that provided the one I used included my fucking photo. They did a really dig. And they were told, all they have to do is provide the information. Well, I want all this other. No, I'm not giving you enough information to steal my identity. I'm giving you the fact that I'm a good credit risk. And I'm not going to change the outcome. And I'm not giving you $40 non-refundable or any non-refundable amount. You're not running a scam here. And if you are, it ain't going to work. And the instant I get pushback, you're getting turned in. Fair housing laws allow that kind of thing to be turned in. And guess what happens to those businesses? They go out of business. I caused at least 1 or 2 property management companies to receive $1 million fines and stop doing that shit. They did it blind. They did it through a computer network thing. They hooked up on a machine at each of the rental locations, or they had you just show up at the location to do it, which is what really should be going on. Same thing with resumes. Well, we need all this information. No, you don't. I'm not giving you enough information to steal my identity or worse, sell the information you get. Here is my resume. Everything's on the resume. I'm not filling it out twice. If you're inefficient as hell, we don't do that unless you're doing this as an air gap. If they don't know what an air gap is, I say, read my resume to find out what an air gap is. I actually included it in the damn resumes after a while. Well, we need you to fill out the form. I will fill out the form to the best ability I have, and then I will get a job or I won't. I don't care if you employ me, especially because 90% of the people I'm applying for will already have somebody, some flunky, do the job. But the point is, I'm going to do this in such a way you can't ruin my credit score or steal my identity or just screw with me or sell it. You're not allowed to do that. Well, then you can't be hired here. And that's how you get turned in to whatever agencies I can. I had a whole laundry list of them, and I did this over and over again until I got a job at a place that said, no, we don't need to have all that. We just need to make sure that your references check out, which they did. But the point about this is, again, nothing smart in your house. If I can program the equipment for you when you have me show up there, I can hack into your house and open the damn doors and locks. I can turn loose your robot vacuum cleaner with a rifle, for fuck's sake. I mean, look up the movie Runaway. It's not really accurate, but it's not accurate yet. And while we're on that, stop buying Teslas. And, unless you're going to hack them completely, which you can look up how to hack a Tesla. The pages disappear pretty quickly because Elon Musk does not want that information out. And sure as hell, do not get a robot assistant. If you're going to wire up something to wire up your house, do it yourself and do it really securely. Okay? But anyway, to reiterate, people who work in IT use that job as a reason for having mechanical doors, windows, and locks, routers using software that they can control, no assistance, voice or otherwise, no AI routines, no internet connected anything like thermostats or cameras, no smart home crap. And the 2004 printer, I had a printer that was from 1997 that was made in such a way that was sustainable. It used thermal fax printer paper. It just used a heating element that would do a pattern. It was just a very fine grained one, a very good one. And it ran on 4 batteries, and it was tube shaped. Some of you might remember this neat little printer. And all I did was stick in the roll next to it in a box and have it roll the paper through. It would print what I needed to and draw a line where I needed to cut it. And all of them were 8 by 11 or whatever I was doing. And then I would run it through a photocopier. Yes, that's an extra step to get a photocopy laser print quality image out of them. I did all my work running a business that way because that meant that I did not have to buy ink, and there was no reason for it to hook up to the internet to order it for me as a convenience. Well, spitting back, in the case of a couple of HP printers, every file I printed being sent back to a secured service because they wanted to monitor your printer ink. Stop bitching about leaks when you're the one turning on the sprinkler. Thanks for watching. Have a good day, and I wish you all luck with that.